Hi, Matt with eTrailer. Today we're going to be talking about the Saris MHS bike rack for 2 bikes on the 2022 Renegade RV Classic. This is going to be a great option if you need to haul a variety of different types of bikes, whether that be your heavy e-bikes or your alternative or carbon frame bikes. What gives it its ability to be versatile is not only its weight capacity of up to 80 pounds per bike, but its tie-down points. It's going to have 3 tie-down points. We're going to have our first one on our back tire, and that's just going to be a strap. And we're going to have 1 tie-down point on each tire using a cradle. And since it's not making any frame contact, that's going to allow us to easily accommodate for those alternative frame and carbon frame bikes. If we want to take a closer look at more of the features, just got to take off my bike. So to start with that, I'm just going to come down to this bottom strap and press this button to release the strap, so I can just tuck it behind here so it's out of our way. Next up, I just like to undo this back cradle. To do that, just gotta grab onto this lever. That's going to release. You might have to squeeze it a little bit. After, when you hear it release, you can just push it out of the way. And you can come up to the front and just do the same thing over here. I'd recommend having a hand on your frame and squeezing and releasing. And you just do the same thing here and just push away. You can push it all the way to the ground, so it's a little bit easier to get out of your way. And take it off and take it for a ride. And just make sure when your bike is removed, just put everything back up. Just kind of starting with this strap. You can just tuck it back in here, make sure it's cinched down. And what I do like about this strap is it's going to have the ability to travel down this tray just to accommodate for those different wheelbase sizes. And that's going to be up to 53 inches. And this is a pretty long strap, so that'll let you accommodate for those larger tire sizes up to 5 inches. Now we're going to have this cradle at the end, and to put it back into place, all we have to do is push up and leave it there. What I do like about this is it's going to have this adjustable cradle at the top. To adjust that, all you have to do is loosen up this lever at the very end and pull this bolt through. It'll look like this. Just remove it and place it wherever you think you'll need it at. Just lining it up with those holes until you find what fits you, and just screw it back in once you have it set. With it like that, you can just push all the way down until it sits on the bottom. What I do like about this as well, it's going to have this additional security built in. So we're going to have this cable lock that's built into our system, and that's just going to plug into each other like this. As for how it's going to install to our vehicle, we're going to have this 2-inch shank that goes into our 2-inch hitch receiver, and it's going to be locked into place with this anti-rattle bolt with a locking core at the end. As for how it sits on the back of our vehicle, it's going to sit from our anti-rattle bolt to the back of the carrier. It's going to sit about 40 inches. So, since this is a larger vehicle and you are worried about this kind of extending out a bit, maybe you're in a really tight spot or a garage, that might be something to keep in mind. Now, as for our ground clearance, the lowest point, we're going to have just about 15.5 inches, which sits kind of low, but thanks to that rise in the shank, we're going to be up a little bit higher. So that's going to be able to help you out a bit. Now, if you are worried about the amount of space it takes up on the back of your vehicle, it does have a fold-up option or a tilt-away option. You can't drive with a tilt-away option, but if you want to see how that works, I can show you that real quick. How you operate it is just pulling on this lever at the very back of it. Once you hear that click, you can let it drop. And that's what the tilt-away features is going to look like. But in our case, we want to fold it up so we save a little bit more space. So I'm just going to lift up and push. It'll lock into place at this point, but we want to lift it a little bit closer to save up on as much room as possible. And now from our anti-rattle bolt to the back of our carrier, it's only going to sit out about 15 inches. So that's going to save you a lot of space. As for how it's going to interact with the back of our RV, it's pretty much going to block almost all of your license plate, and it's going to partially obstruct some of your taillights. But your backup camera up at the top will not be obstructed. Overall, this is going to be a great option for you if you find yourself just carrying a lot of different types of bikes, or you need to be able to accommodate heavy e-bikes and a carbon frame bike. Now, if you're looking for something that's going to be a little bit easy to get your bikes on there, maybe you have a couple heavy e-bikes, I'd recommend the Yakima On-Ramp. It's going to have this integrated ramp to it, and it's going to be a little bit easier to get your bikes on there. But if you find yourself also carrying those carbon frame bikes, then I'd recommend this one. If you've liked everything you saw today, that was a look at the Saris MHS on the 2022 Renegade RV Classic.